A lot of people are gonna start dating in 2026 the exact same way they dated this year. So the problem with that is just that if you dated this year and it did not bring any kind of result, if you don't change anything, it's gonna be the same next year. Most of the frustration that you get is from repeating like the same pattern, like doing the same thing and not getting results that you want. So for this reason, I'm gonna share with you 10 things I would do differently if I were dating in 2026. And the things I'm gonna share with you are not just like small tips or hacks. It's actual shifts that will change the way you approach dating, so it will feel more intentional and you could get results out of it. So let's not talk too much and let's go straight to the first one. First thing I will do is to stop trying to be liked and to focus on how I feel around the other person. Dating gets easier when you stop asking yourself if they like you. Most of people go on dates or just date people and think that they have to perform, they have to be at their best. They have to show them in their like beautiful day, like being like perfect, super smart, super funny and everything. You're more focusing on like approval, to be like, oh, they have to see me at my best, I have to be at my best. But this is not the point. Like, you should not be at your best, because if you're looking for like a long-term relationship, at some point you're not gonna perform like every single day. You have to be natural, you just have to be yourself. So you should feel more relaxed when you date and not trying to perform. And the best thing to do that is to focus on how you feel. If you feel that you're just trying to be your best and you're not yourself, you're not feeling good, this is not a good sign. On the other side, if you feel good and if you feel yourself, this is a good sign that it's going in the right direction. The second thing I will do is to take consistency more seriously than chemistry. Chemistry is common, consistency is rare. The thing is, most of the people, when they go on date, they're trying to find that chemistry, that little spark, that little magic. And of course, that's nice. We all love that. But this is not the point. You should look for like consistency, because spark, magic, chemistry, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna last for a little bit, but not for too long. Then what's gonna come is consistency. You have to see if the other person is consistent with you, if they always show up, if they're always there when there is like some little downs and stuff like that. So don't look for like chemistry, but look for consistency. The problem with chemistry is that it's linked to like attraction. But you can have attraction to a lot of people. If it doesn't last, it doesn't mean anything. So don't focus on that. Focus on things that are lasting, like consistency. The third thing that we'll do is an important one, is to treat mixed signals as actual clear signal. Like, mixed signals aren't mixed, they are clear signal. If you have to think about, if you have to consider, to be like, oh, but what does that mean? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about like the situation we're in. That's a signal for you to stop that. To stop that and leave. This is not worth your time and your energy. Confusion will just keep you into analysis mode. You'll be like, oh, but did he say that? Did they say that? Did she say that? Did I do that wrong or right? And all of that. This is not how intentional dating is supposed to be. So if you see yourself in that mode, stop. That's a signal. That's a signal for you to leave and to save your time and your energy. If for any reason something feels unclear, that's maybe because it is. The next thing I will do is to stop trying to make things for people who are unsure about you. You should not have to convince someone to choose you. When you start to date someone, when you start to create a relationship, this is between two people. You discover someone and they discover you. Again, this goes back to the first point. You're not trying to impress someone. This is not like a one-way thing. Don't try to make things work and do all the efforts if the person in front of you is not trying the same. You're not there to do the whole thing. Like, a relationship is between two people. If you're the only one trying to do the work and everything, it's not gonna work. Like, it's a two-person work. And I know I'm showing four, but like, that's a two-person work. So you cannot do it by yourself. There is one thing you should remember, is that you should not earn basic interest. Don't try to force things with someone that is not as interested as you are to them. So the next thing I will do, and I think very little people are doing it, is to pay attention how someone behaves when you're not together. Watch how someone shows up when you're not in front of them. People will usually like analyze and see how it went during the date. So you went on the date, you went to the restaurant or like whatever, you went on a walk and etc. And that was nice and stuff. But the behavior in between the dates is as important as the behavior during the date. Are they communicant? Are they available? Do they follow up with your messages? Are they trying to learn more about yourself, even through text or calls or video calls or like whatever? All of this is also important, because show up at dates and being nice is one thing, but also being present when you're not physically together is another one. And that is actually a quite important one, because unless you're planning to go live with that person 24/7 in the next weeks, then that's something that you will have to deal with, and that's something that you should really care about. So what happened between the dates matter as much as what happened during the dates. Number 6 of thing I will do is to stop dating potential and to start to date the actual thing that I have in front of me. So stop falling in love with what could be. When you start to date someone, you just imagine future version of themselves, future version of the relationship. And this is why you start to date not the person that is in front of you, but the image of that person that you have in your mind. And the problem with that is that the person you have in your mind is perfect. So there is like 2 issues with that. The first one is that when something a little bit bad that they will do, because of course they're human, they're not like robot, you will feel that it does not match with your image in your mind. And you will be like, oh, what's going on? It doesn't make sense. And on the other side, when they will do actually something that is bad, you will comfort yourself with the image of the perfection that you have in your mind, to be like, oh, but that's okay because they're like that good. No, that's not okay. You should date what you have in front of you. So everything they're doing, good or bad, you should take that into consideration. The goal is not to ignore like any kind of behavior they could have and to date in like a fairy tale and then waking up like weeks, months, or maybe years later and being like, oh, what's going on? Like something is wrong since that much time and I did not realize. Yes, this is why we say love is blind, because it's not totally blind. It's just that you're looking at something that does not exist and has like a perfect version of what you think they are. So what you see is usually not necessarily what you get. So pay attention to that and actually look in front of you. So number 7, and this one is one of my favorite. Get very clear on your standard and actually follow them. This one is like a big topic for me, because there is like a big topic in dating with standards. Like some people has like really high standard, like some people has like low standard, or like criteria, or whatever you want to call them. The thing is, it's good to have standard. You should have standard, criteria, whatever you want to call them. The thing is, some people have standard, but they're not clear enough. So the first part is to be clear on your standard. The second one is to follow them. Then you will be like, okay, but how clear I should be about those standards? That's kind of like simple. Take a piece of paper and write everything you would like about like the person that you would like to, because finding like the right partner is kind of like finding a house. Because if you ask someone like, who would you like to have as a partner, they will be like, oh, someone that is loving, someone that is funny, someone that is present. Of course, because if I ask someone, oh, what kind of house do you want to have, they will tell me, oh, I want a big house, a beautiful house, like, you know, like they will give you like common thing. For example, I ask you, how would you like your house to be? You have to be precise. You have to tell me, for example, how many bedrooms you want, how many kitchen do you want, how many like bathroom do you want, if you want like a swimming pool, if you want like big windows, if you want like a lot of light, if you want like optical fiber in your house. Yes, I want optical fiber in my house. So like this is all of those small criteria that you need to know, and you know them when you go to buy your house. So you have to know them also when you're looking for a partner for your whole life. And the thing is, like, some people are not as precise on their standard. And the second point is like, follow them. Follow those standards. There are people, they have their standard. They're like, oh yeah, like I would like to have this in my partner, this in my partner. But then they will start to date people that are not matching those standards. And then it's not working. And then they're wondering why. Because you're not following your standard. Like, following your standard will filter the amount of people you will date. For a purpose. The goal is not to date as much people as possible, is to be intentional with your dates. So even if there is only a few amount of people that match your standard, that's good, because the one you will date will most likely match your vibe and what you're looking for. So of course, if you have like standard and you started to date someone that is not exactly totally matching, I'm not saying you should like put that person away because maybe that's a great person. So start to date them. But be mindful with that. Keep in mind that you have some standards, and the best way to do this is to, again, take a piece of paper, make a list with what you would like to have in your partner, categorize them with, like, for example, non-negotiable, nice to have and stuff like that. So then it will make more sense when you meet someone to be like, okay, does it match my like nice to have, does it match my non-negotiable, etc. So you're more clear about that, and it will make your life way easier. So this one was a little bit longer than the other one. There is a lot of noise about like standards and like, oh, you should like be open and blah 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 and blah blah blah. You should be clear on what you want. You should be clear on what you want and follow that. And of course, last point on that, this could change over time. Like it's not something fixed. Like with your experience, with life and etc., your standard and what you're looking in a partner might change with time, and that's okay. But just be clear with yourself about what you want. So we're almost there. The next one is to stop confusing interest with emotional attachment. Interest is not a connection. Early excitement can create like false closeness. Like you will be excited at the beginning because of course that's the beginning, you go on the date, everything goes well and etc. etc. This does not mean that this is emotional attachment. If you get attached like too early, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, there is like some relationship that started like really fast and both of the people were like emotionally attached and it went well. But in general, if you get emotionally attached, it's not the best, especially at the beginning, because at the beginning it's just interest. You just learn to know each other and etc. So pace yourself. Take the time to analyze everything. Take the time to enjoy the time to see if that's actually a match before getting emotionally attached. Because this is why if things does not goes well, then you get hurt. Connection will grow, but it does not have to be rushed. The next one I will do is to pay attention to how small conflicts are handled. Small conflict reveal everything. That's something that very few people talk about because we always look at like how date goes, how things goes well. No one is talking about like what happened when things does not go well, because of course a relationship is between like two humans with two different personalities. At some point they will have like conflict. Like it could be like really small conflict, like you do not agree on the same thing to eat, or like bigger conflict because you don't see each other like often because one of you is working more, like whatever it could be. One of the things to pay attention to is how both of you as a couple, like as like two people like dating, are handling those. This is really important. Like you have to see if you take accountability of like what you're doing or what you're saying. You have to see if the other one is like more on the defensive when you have like trouble, when you have to handle like small conflict. And this is this thing that you have to know early, because this is something that you will have to deal with in the long term. Because again, if you're dating intentionally, if you're looking for someone long term, conflict will happen and you have to know how to handle them with the other person. And this is not after 6 months, a year that you discover that you cannot like handle conflict together, that it's gonna like magically happen. Try to see, I'm not saying like create a conflict from the beginning. Like don't do that. This is only something you have to do. There is like small disagreement that you can have and see how those get solved, if they actually get solved, because if not, then you have like your answer. And then the last one, and almost I would say the most important one thing that I will do if I were dating in 2026 is to choose the people who make you feel calm and not intense or excited. Healthy dating feels calmer than what we expect. Most people feels like, oh, if I start to date someone, it has to be exciting, it has to be like super cool and etc. etc. But actually, no. It should be calm, it should be peaceful, it should be nice. I'm not saying that it should not be intense in terms of like activities or like what you feel, etc. But you should feel at peace. And not too long ago, a friend of me told me something like really nice about that. Like she started to date someone, and after like I think the second date, the first few dates, she told me, oh, this is weird because with that person I'm really feeling myself and at peace. And that's the best feeling that you can have if you're dating someone. Like if you feel yourself and at peace when you are with the other person, that's the best thing. I'm not saying that if you feel that this is like your soulmate or that you're gonna spend your life together, but this is a very, very good sign that most likely you will have a good and sustainable long-term relationship. Peace is way better than any kind of intensity or spark or magic that you can feel. So keep that in mind. So that's it for those 10 things I would do if I were dating in 2026 intentionally. Dating is not supposed to feel like confusing, and it should be like clear for you. It should be clear from the beginning. So before you go on the date, you should be clear on like what you're looking for, what are like your goals, what do you want in that relationship. It should be clear when you start to date someone to be able to know if that person is good for you or not, to then continue to date with them. And then after a few dates, you should be clear about like, okay, should I continue? Should we actually start a relationship or not? And I'm just trying to find like someone else. That might be a lot of information and a lot of shift. I hope this helped. You don't learn how to like date at school, so that might be a lot. You don't have to try to apply all of this today or like tomorrow or like next year. Try to pick one and try to see how you can implement that in your life and see if there is actually like a change in the result that you have in your dating life. Also, let me know in the comments which one of those resonated the most with you, which one like you kind of like felt was like the most needed for you right now. If this kind of like help you, please feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will try to make more videos like this. That's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you to meet some great people the next time you go to date, and I see you next year. Bye.